Morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great day, whatever part of the good morning, good evening, and good night time of day you are at the moment. I listened to an interview this morning with Dr. Richard Fleming. It must have been a different part. I thought I knew what I was listening to, and it was released about 3 days ago, and I think it's on both cmnnews.org as well as on the SGT report. And he sort of had a few interesting little comments about what science has learnt in the last few years. And it was sort of like, number one, respiratory viruses can go from person to person. So, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars worldwide, and we now know that for certain, given, worldwide PCR testing. And you know what I think of PCR testing? I just did another little thing on that on my Telegram channel yesterday, Madonna Guide, New Leaf Natural Therapies. Another thing he said was that if someone gets a virus and they're untreated and it's bad enough, it can kill you. Because not treating people for things isn't a great way to go when it comes to medicine. So obviously in my clinic, if someone got a virus, I would do the usual sort of things. I've got lots of really good antiviral stuff. So super mushroom complex and, so all the medicinal mushrooms are amazing. Vitamin C up to bowel tolerance, vitamin D, obviously anything from 10, 15,000 minimum international units per day. Zinc, 50 milligrams, 25 to 50 milligrams, once again, depending on bowel tolerance. And gut tolerance after meals is always good for zinc, 2 to 3 times a day. So, there's all sorts of things that I do natural therapies wise. And here in Australia last year, back in April, sorry, I'm going for a wander. Back in April last year, our TGA in Australia removed 14 drugs from being allowed, and these were drugs that doctors have used for decades, that all of a sudden they weren't allowed to use for this particular shenanigan on the planet. So, and then I listened to David Icke for an hour the other night, and he had some interesting information about, and I'll probably get it wrong, but it's something like midazolam. But anyway, it's an end of life drug, and it was one of the main drugs they used in the UK last year. Matt Hancock ordered a whole year's supply in the spring of 2020, which is sort of interesting. So you sort of think, okay, so at what point was this bad organisation, At what point was it that they just simply didn't know what to do, so therefore they were using weird medications that would never normally be used if someone got a respiratory viral illness? And we sort of just have to take a look, pay attention, check out the VAERS, VAERS website in the States, the yellow card system in the UK. I saw a fabulous overview from the EU yesterday that, and in Australia it's the DAEN, the Database of Adverse Events. So there's all these sites, and they're the main ones that I keep seeing over and over again, the ones from the UK, the ones from the EU, the ones from the US, and the ones from Australia. And compare it to the number of shenanigan cases and potential deaths, because we know that if in the EU, or the UK particularly, if you had a positive PCR test within 28 days, then you were put down as a COVID case, even if it was a heart attack or a stroke or a motorbike accident. I did see motorbike accidents and meth deaths, meth explosions early on in the piece, and I thought, what the hell are they doing? They are just putting anything down as these deaths, because obviously when I heard Billy G say in March 2020 things would never go back to normal unless every man, woman and child was on the planet was vaccinated, that sort of made, and once again, I know many, many people at the same time were in the same boat going, right, that's the plan. Mandating vaccines, let's see how bad this gets. And of course, like in Australia, you take away 14 different drugs that have always been used during viral infections, and all of a sudden they're not in use. I've heard there's a petition to the Parliament at the moment in Australia for New South Wales to bring back breast screening. Now, we know that more cancers are going to increase when people aren't getting their normal treatment and care and checks. We know that mental health is up 6 times minimum, sort of mental health issues. We know that people in mental health who take phone calls from the public are getting more phone calls than they've ever had in their lives in these positions. These are big shenanigans. Anyway, Dr. Richard Fleming on the CGT is where I saw it this morning. Like I said, it's also on the cmnnews.org. So if you haven't seen that interview, he's just a dynamo. He's a physicist, he's a doctor, he's a lawyer, he's a bit of a smarty pants. So, on that genius scale, but he also is open, and he said back in 1984, so once again, thinking about strokes and heart attacks for a second, he did research back in 1984 that maybe anyway, whatever, I'm not going to guess, but I'm trying to remember back to another interview I heard back in April. But anyway, so in 1984, he found that people with untreated viruses were at a higher risk of heart attacks and strokes. Now, once again, if you have a virus and you are not being treated, you are in a higher risk for actually taking on heart attacks and strokes. And of course, we know after 18 months or 20 months or however long it's been, that the spike protein is the dangerous part of the virus. So the spike protein, at the time, we were seeing all those pictures of the scarring on people's lungs and stuff. So if you're not being treated, like even our asthma drugs were told not to be used for it. If you can't breathe, even me as a natural therapist will go get your frickin' puffer. It's, very interesting. It's just very interesting. Anyway, worth a listen. And if you're up for David Icke, I always have to be in a certain frame of mind to listen to him. But the one on Sunday night was really good, where he talks about 2 particular drugs that have been used in the UK and the US. Remdesivir is the second one. So, just fun times. It doesn't matter whether we've been jibber-jabbied or not. Doesn't matter whether we've lost people to this or not. All we have to do is project love and compassion and empathy for everyone where they are in this whole circus at the moment. Where are people's levels of consciousness? Where are they happy to be sitting? What information are they happy to be listening to? Some people can listen to the tiniest little amount and other people just gobble up the energy. And especially people who have been jibby-jabbied want to feel like they've done the right thing. And absolutely, if that's the right thing for you, then that's the right thing for you. But keep an eye on the science. So subscribe to some people who are giving an alternative perspective. If you listen to mainstream, you'll get one perspective. And that's fine. Our delightful Jacinda across the pond in New Zealand, she said last week, it's hilarious, you've got to go find the clip, says something like, your government is your only source of information. If you hear information from any other source, don't trust it. Only get your information from this government website. And I'm like, really? Kiwis? Surely you're not believing in her anymore. Come on. Okay, cool. That's what I watched this morning. Anyway, so I'll do a bit of a video. I was going to do it now, but I have a client too soon, and so I don't have time. But okay, I will do a meditation later on. Okay, bye. Oh, and if you're not connected to my Telegram, Madonna Guy, I think it's Madonna Guy at New Leaf Natural Therapies, I put on a couple of little videos about some more thoughts about that. So, okay, bye.